Hi guys, Chris the Ultimate Cycler. I'm back in the store shed at the shop today. We're up to episode 18 of the Great Shop Cleanup. We've finished that shelf unit there in the last episode, which surprised me how quickly we got through it. We're now onto this pile, so I'll be looking into this foam box today. The progress in this room has been nothing short of supersonic. It's amazing how quickly we're getting into it. Just one item at a time. Persistence pays off, as Mum always used to tell me, and she still does. Okay, let's get this box through onto the bench. I think that's just an empty bag. And maybe more bags in there. We do use these as shop packaging bags for customers when they buy stuff. Another one there, old shopping bag. What was that, Woolworths? So we use these too. We just like to recycle everything that we can. There's no sense buying new bags just to give away to people. I think there's a plastic bag ban, is there? They did bring it in. I don't know if it's still in existence, but I've never bought new bags, always used reclaimed ones. Right, this box does look interesting. Mostly shed stuff, but who knows what's in the bottom. Let's go and have a look. Okay, this box is pretty heavy. It is shed type stuff. Yeah, some tools, all sorts. There's even a camera I can see. I don't know where this came from. Like many of these things, it's come out of someone's shed I cleaned out a long time ago. And for a start, we have a military water bottle. It's a blue enamel metal, like a hip flask with the strapping, which is great. I believe these were used in World War I and World War II. We'll have to see if there's any markings on it, but it's great. It's got the strap with it. Sometimes they have an actual army number from the person that served, and I think it does have. It actually says a scout troop, so there is a name on it, but I suspect it was repurposed as from being a military or like from army disposals perhaps, and it was repurposed for the scouts. Looks in pretty good condition. Even got the original stopper. I'll look closely at that, see if there's any dates on it, but that's a nice piece. I don't know what it's worth. I've had a few of these over the years, but they're not often still in their original felt. So I'm thinking $30, $40 around that era, around that bracket. All right, we have a pretty standard drill brace and bit, quite common. This one's the ratchet one. Sometimes they're made by Stanley, I think Stanley. Sidchrome maybe, I don't remember. So it looks in well used but still very good condition. We're probably, well, the drill bit's loose, but that part works fine. We're going to get at least $10, probably $15 on that one. Very common, but they are popular, and of course they're still useful. Okay, a mechanics tool. This is a tension wrench or a torque wrench. It's probably a Warren and Brown one, which I think were an Australian company. They sold a lot of their products through Repco in Australia. It's a 1/2-inch drive. So General Mechanics torque wrench. Looks pretty rough, and I think it's had a bit of a tough life. And it's the deflecting bar type. So if you're not familiar with how a torque wrench or a tension wrench works, it enables you to put exactly the right amount of torque on a bolt or a nut via a socket. And in this case, the actual shaft of the implement flexes until it moves across here and pushes a little button and pops this little thing out. So if I push that button, it pushes that out. So you just basically lean on it until it clicks, and then you know you've got the same torque as all the other bolts, and you can adjust this for different torques. You probably didn't even need to know all about that, but you know, it's a torque wrench, I've got a torque. In good condition, they can be $100 or so. That one probably maybe $50. I'll have to clean it up a little bit. Some hardware here, never been opened. It's a sliding bolt for a door with the keys, the lock and the hardware for the bottom bolt to slide into. Very heavy duty, looks brass, quite heavy. The original price tag's on there and it says $66. Where was the company? Some hardware store. Probably $50. I think if you go to buy something like that new, you would pay a lot. So we might get 50. I'll do some checking online, but it is brand new. It is in great condition. The packaging's a little weathered, but that's fine. You don't install the packaging on your door. A wooden spoon, just for something kitchen related. Ended up in someone's shed probably for stirring chemicals. Better be careful, you never know. Moving away from the shed now, we have the latest in photography gear. Perhaps not quite the latest. A box brownie, very rough, very weathered. A little bit of surface rust on the fittings. There's a lot of these around. They're rather iconic. There's a lot of different sorts, but this one's pretty rough. The back just usually pops open, and we'll see what it's like inside. Yeah, it looks pretty clean inside. Would probably still work. Does that come out? Yeah, I think it does somehow. I don't know if you can still get film for them. It's just a shutter release there. I can remember using one of these as a kid, and they were weird to take a photo with because you held them down below and you looked through the prism there, the lens, and there must be a mirror inside so that you're looking out the front window, so you can sight up what you're taking a photo of from up above, or I guess if you want portrait, that's landscape portrait. And of course, with all these cameras, you didn't know if you got what you wanted to do, if it was a good shot, if it was blurry, if it was overexposed. You didn't know until you got the film back, which often took weeks. And not like today, you can just keep firing off shots and look at them straight away. But yeah, box brownie, in that condition, probably only $10. I was going to mount one in the shop one day as a pretend security camera. I thought that'd be cool, but not much value. Okay, we have a drum of some sort of chemical, Gibson Calite. Never heard of Gibson Calite. Chempol, wax-free. Oh, it's a floor polish. Hopefully that cleans up a bit better. At least it's a floor polish. It's not going to be a nasty chemical, but it's still full. Full and sealed. Little rusty on the base of the tin there. Hopefully it doesn't spring a leak. I will clean the front of that up. I think it'll look a lot better. Don't know what we'll get for it, but people do like advertising on old tins. Oh, speaking of old tins, we have some little tobacco tins. Now these feel like they've got hardware in them, rivets or something. I'll bring the camera a bit closer and we'll have a look at those in a minute. Some automotive test equipment. This is a rev counter for an 8-cylinder or a 6-cylinder. And I guess it connected to your distributor or something, and it worked out from the firing of the spark what revs your engine was doing. Not so useful on modern cars, but quite collectible. It's don't know where it's made. It just says patent pending on the back. Nice vintage piece, probably 1960s or 70s. Another piece of test equipment here. This looks like a vacuum gauge. Yes, it is, or fuel pressure gauge. So, vintage car test equipment. It looks like it's a brass gauge. Another tobacco tin. That little tool is a valve spring compressor for a small engine. And that's quite a nice, it opens parallel. And it should have a little locking mechanism somehow. There's a bit of a clean-up. Oh yeah. So that's for removing valves out of a small side valve engine. More little tins. Another interesting gauge here. This one's a compression tester, is it? Yes. So you'd put I think you'd press that into a spark plug hole on an engine and crank it over, and it gives you a reading of the compression of the engine. Feels like a good sturdy gauge, that one. Made in the USA. Do I need a compression tester? Maybe. Oh, and here's another one. Another smaller compression tester. So yes, you basically just check how much compression the engine's got, which is indicative of the engine's condition, really. All right, we have a booklet here. Is this instructions for something that we've got here? No, it's a book about spark plugs, but it's not very good condition. Oh, there's the front of it. It's probably a catalogue all about KLG spark plugs. It's a shame it's so rough. The lid off a cardboard box. And down the bottom we have two things that are not shed related at all. Very little spiky things with a lead base, and they're for putting in the bottom. I think they're called a stay put flower aid, and they go in the bottom of a vase, and then you can poke the stems of your flowers or whatever into those spikes. And I guess it adds a bit of weight to the bottom of the vase, which makes the vase more stable. And I usually sell them for $5 each. Here we have a, what's this, a wiper motor? That would be my guess. Can't see anything written on it. I'll check that out, but I'm thinking it has power in, it looks automotive, and it has some sort of shaft coming out. I think that's a windscreen wiper motor. We have a new old stock plug, although I don't think it is. I think it's been used maybe in the dollar box with my electrical stuff. And that's pretty well it. Just the box of something. Is that the box for this? Yes, that's the box for our taco. So we can probably leave that with the box. Not that the box is in very good condition. And that's it. I don't like these foam tubs. They make irritating noises and you get little bits of foam everywhere. Terrible for the environment. And unfortunately not recyclable, at least not through our curbside recycle bins. I believe you can recycle it, but you have to take a large quantity to a place that does it, and there's nowhere around here. I have also been shown that you can dissolve it in acetone and basically make a glue, but I don't have time for that. So unfortunately I'll probably put that in the bin. All right, we better clean up some stuff here and I'll have a look in those little tins. Okay, we should get some reasonable value out of tins because people love collecting tins. These are genuine laxettes for constipation, but I bet you they're not. They're little tacks, and I think that's a little repair plate from a shoe when you used to fix your own shoes. So we'll clean that tin up, we'll get 5 for the tin. This one's got nothing in it. An empty one, and it's another laxative. Well, yes, it's chocolate laxative. Well, there you go. At least they made it chocolate, I guess. Here we have a white ox tobacco tin. That's a nice tin, and it's not one I can remember seeing, so it could be a rarer tin, that one. It's a hinged lid, and I think it's got tacks in it as well. Yeah, little nails. I always have a good look in these. It's amazing how many times you find an old piece of jewellery or something in a box. But that's a nice tin. I've got to research that one because that could be better than just $5. This one's cigarettes. I've seen this tin around a bit, so I think it's more common. And what's in this one? More little tacks. They're all bent ones, they've all been used. People used to save everything back in the day. Benson and Hedges, a very common tin, that one. Feels like more nails or tacks, yep. So we don't have any value in the contents, but the tins, even the common ones, will get $5. Town Talk Tobacco, I've seen that one before. It's not in bad condition. Might be a $10 tin, this one. Nothing in this. It's been a bit squashed. A bit rusty on the back. Maybe 5. Capstan Ready Rubbed Fine Cut Tobacco, again another very common one, and not in very good condition this time, nothing in it. We'll clean them up though, and I'll smear a bit of beeswax over them. They will come up a lot better. The last one's very hard to read. The Garrick, Virginia, that'll be cigarettes, and more nails. So I don't know, that might be a slightly rarer tin, but it's not in very good condition. So I think the pick of them is the white oak. I better do some checking on that. But even at 5 each and the odd $10 one, some pretty good value here, and these things sell well in the shop. Okay, I have cleaned everything up and things have actually cleaned up very well. I've done a fair bit of checking and researching, and I'll run through some prices with you, and there's a couple of things I am going to keep and maybe one for eBay. Right, let's go through them. The Gibson Calite tin, which is full, as I mentioned, actually cleaned up fairly well. It's a little stained on the front, but it's not too bad. I think I went for $20 on that. So it's a nice collectible piece. It is Australian. It says preserving Australia through chemistry down the bottom. So $20 on that should be of interest to anyone that collects old advertising tins. The brass bolt here, I've put $80 on it. Interestingly, the price sticker here that said 66 has a date of January 1987. $66 back in 1987 was a substantial amount of money. There are specialist companies that make these things now. You can't get sort of solid brass items like this at your general hardware places. It's basically brand new. I've gone for $80, but really, the right person would probably pay a lot more than that. But we'll put it in the shop at $80. See how we go there. The little plug there I just put in a different bag. That'll be a couple of dollars. The Army water canteen is actually a World War II one, and I found it stamped on the leather, which they often did. And you can see 1942, Department of Defence. I'm not sure what KH means. 1942. And there's another broad arrow there with a G. That would have some significance. The broad arrow is usually a government stamp, which they used for railways and Department of Defence. So that's a really nice example. I think we'll probably put 45 on that one. And what else do we have? The camera, just 10. It did clean up a lot better. The brace and bit, I think I said 15. The wooden spoon cleaned up quite nicely. We'll put 5 on that, but don't stir your soup with it, just in case. This idle tachometer is in really good condition. The box isn't in very good condition, but it's nice to have the original box. And underneath the packaging are the original instructions for it as well. I think I went 35 on that. I'm just glancing at my little notes as I'm talking about these. And of course, they're all out of order to how I'm showing you, so I'm having trouble finding them. I went 30 on the tacho. The torque wrench cleaned up quite well. It's still obviously a bit aged, shall we say. It's not really rusty, but it's discoloured. It was slightly surface rusty, but it cleaned up pretty well. I couldn't see a brand on it, so it may still have been made by Warren and Brown, but apparently they subletted the item, or whatever the correct word is, marketed it through other companies like Sidchrome and Repco. It does have a Sidchrome branded little square in the end there, so it's a nice piece and it would work fine. Everything moves, nothing's seized up on it. I've gone for 70 on that one. I have had a good one in the shop a while back and I got 100 for it, no worries, so I think we'll get 70 for that one. This vane gauge is a fuel pressure gauge and a vacuum gauge. It works both ways, and it does work. If I grab this bit of hose and provide some suction, it works perfectly. That may be handy for some of my mechanics jobs down the track. It might be adaptable to use on small engines to see what vacuum they have. So I'm not sure, but I'll hang on to it for now. I think it's about a $50 piece. And also this other one is a vane gauge as well. I think they're Australian made. Oh no, that says Electrical Instruments England. I'm sure the other one said Australia, so I'm not sure on that. Oh yeah, it says Sydney up the top. But I'm going to hang on to that. That's a basic compression tester, so that will work on any engine just to see what compression the cylinders have. So I may use those. Again, I would value that at 50. So I think there's $100 worth of gauges there. They're in great condition, but I'll hang on to them for now. I was correct with this item. It is a windscreen wiper motor. I took it home last night, put it on my power supply. It's a 12 volt one. It says 12 volts on the side there, and it works beautifully. The motor sounds nice. It oscillates the shaft back and forward. So it's in good condition, and it's made by SWF, and apparently it might look, oh, is that slightly dented? It looks dented through the camera. Maybe it is slightly dented, or maybe that's just the way it's molded. I think they suit early Volkswagens, VWs, possibly a combi van. I may eBay that one down the track because it works well. I'm going to value it at 50, but I'll probably put it in my box at home to eBay unless any of you are interested. This, I was tempted to keep this valve spring compressor. It has a patent date of 1927 on it. It does have some names on it. It's made in the USA. I can't remember the name off the top of my head. You might be able to read it through there. It's in pretty good condition. I didn't clean it up too much. It would clean up much better. The little spring latch works all right. It may have been designed for use on old motorcycle engines back in the 1920s. So I'm going to put $25 on that in the shop. It's not one I need to keep. All these tobacco tins cleaned up very nicely, as you can see. Great colour. All I did was give them a wash in hot water with very, very fine steel wool, and I did not scrub them. I just wiped the steel wool over ever so gently, and it tends to take stuff off the paint and just bring out the colours a bit. And then I coat them with beeswax, which helps even more with the colours. It gives them a little bit of a gloss, and it will stop them rusting. They look fantastic, don't they? This one I did scrub quite a bit harder because there was no paint on it, and you can see it's actually highlighted the text really well. So, and again, beeswax brings it up nicely. This is a fairly scarce one, as I suspected. I'm going to put $20 on that. Now, I'll see if I can remember the prices, because if any of you are interested, these will be the prices they'll be available at. The Laxets one, I went 15 on that one. I think that's a harder one to get. 10 on this one, and the Town Talk and the Capstan, all $10 each. 20 on that. That was 5. The Benson Hedges were 5, and I went 10 on the Laxets. So that's the prices I'm going to put in the shop. This compression gauge, Repco one, is called a compressometer, and it is a engine compression gauge as well, compression tester. The rubber tip around the end of it looks a bit hard and perished, so it may not work all that well without replacing that. And what did I put on that one? 35 on that one. I think that's a really nice gauge. Quite an old one. Not sure when that would date to, but brilliantly made. Great condition. The glass is not scratched or anything, and it's genuine glass on the gauge, not plastic. So yeah, 35 on that. The 2 flower aids, we've just gone $5 each on, and I think we've done a lap. So there we go. Now that roughly adds up to not far short of $600, and that's if I sell these 2 gauges. So how's that for a good box? Really interesting stuff, especially if you're into shed things, but we also have the camera, the cigarette tins, the door hardware, even a token wooden spoon, and even a bit of army gear. What a great mix. So thanks for watching, guys. Even more space made out in the storeroom now. We'll be back to it again this coming week and try and get another couple of episodes out. I'm really enjoying the space being created. It's almost addictive. I can't wait to get back and move some more stuff. And the bonus is we're finding some pretty valuable stock for the shop and some bits and pieces for me to take home. You know, I can't sell everything. Thanks for watching, guys. We'll catch you in the next video. Now, I'll box up that stuff on the counter now, and I won't put it in stock in the shop until the video is released to the public. So members get a little bit of a head start on even the general public in the shop. That's how I like to work it. Thanks for watching. We'll catch you in the next one. Bye for now.